Hello everyone. Today I finally got my tutorial done for the Teal Mermaid nails that I wore. And fair warning, the video is a little pixelated and kind of jerky and I don't know why that happened. But we're going to power through. So most of this is Beetles polish that I got in their Mermaid Mantra collection. There's a couple of things I used that weren't in there, but most of it came in that. I was really pleased with those colors, and so I decided we'll try to use all of that. I've started off, these are going to be on my own nails, and I'm starting off with just doing the first coat. Decided to give this one a shake up because it seemed a little thin, but as it turned out, that's the way that color is. If I were going to use this particular color as it's by itself, I would have done 3 coats, but for this tutorial I will just be doing 2 coats because I will be putting a glitter over top of it, so it didn't need to be totally perfect. So you'll be seeing me with the awkwardness of doing my own nails. Much easier working on the tips, I have to say. It took me a pretty long time to get this video together because I had nothing but problems when I was trying to transfer it. I recorded it with my phone, and I stupidly recorded the entire video in one long session, and then I had major problems getting it to transfer out of there into my computer. And now I'm just doing some cleanup under the edge from where I may have slopped polish under there. Now we're going to do 866 for the one index finger. I believe the other one was 865, the more greeny looking one. Back to the transfer issue I had getting the video out of my phone. I think that's in all this crazy stuff we had to do to try to get it out of there and into my computer where I could edit. I think that's how it got kind of pixelated and weird looking. But if you need to see anything really clearly close up, if you just pause it, it'll be crystal clear. Why it doesn't play that way, I really don't know. So now we're going with the second coat. And I tried to speed this up a bit so you don't have to watch me doing this very much. Sloppage, cat hairs. I also made the mistake of brushing my cats before I came in here to do these nails. So I spent a considerable amount of time picking cat hairs out of stuff, even though I lint rollered myself off really well. And they're not allowed in here in the nail room. Still, hairs seem to be everywhere. Okay, that was cured. Now I always over cure my stuff because I'm just afraid it's going to not be done and I don't want wrinkling. So I think that's 864, 861. I didn't see it. Well, you guys saw it, and I'll list it in the description. But this is the glitter polish I'm putting over top of there, over the more greeny teal color. I was really loving how this came out after I got the glitter polish on it. It really looked nice. Now, hopefully in the future it won't take me nearly so long to get my videos edited and done. Now that I had to corral my husband too to sit down with me and help me work on this one because it was the first time I was editing by myself. And it did not go as smoothly as planned, of course. Oh well, live and learn. And once I get these on here, I will be curing this for a full minute. Although I think the Beetles cures in 30 seconds, but like I said, I always over cure my stuff just to be on the safe side. And this is the darker one, 867, I believe it is. And you'll see me putting this coat on here. I did go back later at some point that I don't have in here, that I did put a second coat of this one on my index finger because I wanted it to be a little darker and have a little more glitters in it. This one has more of a chunky glitter to it as opposed to the fine glitter in the other one. That's cute. Oh, well, you almost got to see them there for half a second. Okay, now this came in the Beetles polish set. These stickers with the mermaid, scales and tails, and some other miscellaneous stuff, which I will be using at some later point. Now these are the 3D stickers, which I thought was really kind of cool. And I will carefully peel these off with my tweezers. I've learned in the past to go slow when doing these kind of things because I have ripped stickers and decals and things before, trying to get them off of there too quickly. This one will be the accent nail going on my ring finger, as you can see. I want to get this lined up the way I want it, hopefully. One thing I liked about these stickers too is they had a good sticky quality to them. They stuck on there nicely. I didn't have any problems with any parts lifting up. Right, now once this is on here, I will need to trim around the edges to get that evenly on there and get the extra bits off the sides. I probably could have sped this section up a little for you so you don't have to watch me fiddling with it. And you'll get to see the awkwardness of my trying to work on my own nails. I cut out the whole section of my doing my offhand because that is even more awkward to look at than what you're seeing now. Oh boy, it pains me to watch this. Eventually I'm going to get all those little side bits cut off, and now you can't even see what I'm doing, but I will get there. I wanted to make sure I had them off there as cleanly to the edge, and maybe just a skosh shy of the edge as I could. So, because like I said, I was afraid of the edges peeling up later on. Well, once I get this done, when I get to the stage for top coating, I put extra top coat right on the very edges, like along the underside edge. You'll see when we get there, just to avoid that peeling up issue. And now we're just filing off the excess, get it as smooth as possible along those edges. And moving on, we're going to use one of the mermaid tails on my middle finger. If you bear with me, I will get better as I go along making videos about keeping things in the shop better. This stuff's all new to me still, and I'm still figuring things out, but I'll get it eventually. There, we got both sides done like magic. Okay, now I've got those same polishes that I just used before, along with this new one, 869. And I'm going to take my detailer brush and I'm going to fill in all those scales. Now I believe I sped this up too, although right now it doesn't look like it, so you don't have to sit there, because this did take me a while to fill those all in. Yes, I suppose I should watch some kind of a tutorial on working with this program too, because I don't like the way it's really jerky instead of a smooth, like a smooth speed up. It's like jerky and like bits and bobs as it's going along. But you get the gist. I'm just filling those all in with the different polishes. I like the fact that these stickers were 3D too, because it just made like a little hollowed in area where it was real easy to put the polish in there and kind of swoosh it around, and it just filled in that whole section, each little section, quite nicely. Well, eventually we're going to get there and get this part done. Alright, I've got that one done finally. Now I've decided I'm going to fill in with the green one the fins of the mermaid tail, which was not as easy as I thought it was going to be, because a lot of those little sections were extremely skinny. And even my detailer brush didn't want to get down in there, so I did end up slopping some onto the white part. And I had to, at the end, I think you'll see where I have a lint-free wipe that I had put some alcohol on and was trying to clean that off on the white part. Now, if you notice my index finger on my left hand, I believe I've gotten the 2 coats of that darker blue, the chunkier glitter one on there now, as opposed to just the one. I think it looked a lot better. Okay. I started off trying to clean that green off of and there's another cat here. Trying to clean the green off of the white part with the brush, the side of the brush, and that wasn't working very well. So I believe I'm going to get the lint-free wipe pretty soon to try to clean that off. Trying to clean it off of the white part without the wipe getting down inside of there and spreading more polish around too was a bit of a trick. Now they're all done, all cleaned off, ready to move on to the next step. And now we're going to do a bubble now. Now this is the only other polish that I used for this. It's just a white gel polish. I didn't have any white in Beetles, so this is what we went with. We're going to do a bubble finish on parts of these. What I was going for was like the foamy stuff that gets on top of the water in the ocean, or, you know, from after a splash, or just, you know, from the waves. In hindsight, if I did something like this again, what I would do is take some top coat, some glossy top coat, and then just put a little tiny bit of the white polish in it and mix it up and use that instead, so it would be a little bit more transparent. This came out a little bit more opaque than I was really hoping for. So once we get the bubble on there, it didn't give me as much transparency as I was hoping. So in the cup there, I have just got some water and dish soap. I'm going to mix that all up to get some fluffier bubbles, and then I'm just going to lay those on there gently. Try not to move them around as much like I just did. Alright, now it's been cured. It's been cured for a minute, and then I just took a wipe and gently blot them off. And you will get the bubble finish on there, which I think is kind of a cool deal. But I'm going to do a set of chrome nails at some point with that bubble finish on, because I really like the way that looks. Now on this one, I was trying to make it look like that's going to be the splashy part where she's just leaping into the water. So we'll just do the same thing. I wasn't getting enough bubbles here, so you gotta keep them nice and fluffy and try to get a big wad of them at one time, so you can lay it all on there without them moving around too much. I'll cure that again for a minute, and then we'll just clean it off the same as the other one. I just blot off the extra bubbles after it's cured. And the same thing again with the thumb, which you can barely see because I'm almost out of the shot. Okay, and there's another cat hair, of course. I made the mistake before I came in here to do this set of brushing my cats that morning. And even though I lint rollered myself off really well, and they're not allowed in my nail room, I still had an abundance of hairs that day that I had to pick out of everything. Blot, blot. And there is the bubble on the thumb. Eventually I'll get it in shot so you can see it, but alright, now I've done the other hand, and now we're moving on to the embellishments, which I'm going to start off with this little starfish charm that I've had for several years. My very first set of mermaid nails that I did several years ago, I used that charm on there. So when I was done with that set and I took it off, I had saved it because it was a nice metal one with stones in it, and I didn't want to just chuck it. But so now I'm going to use it again on this set. There, see my index finger, how much sparklier it looks now because it's got the two coats on. I had to play around with this a little. I was trying to bend this starfish a little bit more so it had more of a curve and it would lay on there nicely and not have so much of the pointy ends sticking up to get caught on things. Now I wear my nails for a month, so I'm only doing my own nails once a month. So about maybe 3/4 of the way through the month, I did manage to catch that starfish on something and I lost it, so I had to refill it in with some other stones. But it did stay on there pretty good. Got 2 uses out of it. Okay, now to put on any embellishments, I almost always use Mia's Secret Gel Resin. I find for me that works the best. You don't have to cure it.
and it doesn't, it's kind of like nail glue, but it doesn't set up right away. You got a good amount of time to sit there and move things around if you need to. What I found that when I try to use either builder gel or gem glue or things like that that have to be cured, if I'm trying to put anything on there that is not clear, it doesn't cure underneath it, and then it just continues to slide around and pop off, and it's very frustrating for me. So I just use this stuff most of the time. It works fairly well. Occasionally I'll have stones pop off, but you know, I do my normal stuff. You know, I do my normal household chores every day, and then I also am out there gardening. So you know, they're gonna pop off no matter how you put them on. Occasionally, if you bump things or get them caught on stuff. But for the most part, they stay on pretty well. What happens a lot is the crystals might pop off, but the silver backing that's on the other side, it will still stay glued to the nail. So the resin does work really well at keeping the stuff on there. And now I'm going to use some caviar beads in blue and clear that I'm mixing together. And I wanted these to be kind of like going along with the splashy theme. I was going to do gold ones in there too, but then I decided not to. So I'm just mixing them up. Now, I started off putting them on with just picking them up with my brush and putting them on. As I went along further down the line of doing, you know, other nails on here, I started just putting the glue on and then just kind of pouring them on top and letting them stick where they were going to stick, because it was taking too long. Now, I live in SoCal, so right now, it being summertime, it's hotter than blazes in here. So it's nearly 100 degrees in here while I'm working. And after being in here for a couple of hours, I just get so hot. I just end up rushing through to get things done. Even though I've got a couple of fans blowing on. That was just top coat I just put on there. Sometimes I use that to help the caviar beads stick on there so I can pick them up faster and bigger clumps and just get them on there. I'm just going to put them on and kind of spread them out where I want. Now, I didn't say, but I used some of these little, the first stone I put on there towards the bottom part of that starfish, you could see a round kind of teal colored stone. That was one of those right above the caviar bead tray, that little wheel. They're little kind of like glass stones, but they have like a cat eye going across them that moves, you know, that goes with the light, which is kind of cool. And then also I just used some flat back pearls. I think I stuck one or two of those in there. And now I'm just fiddling around with it, trying to get these caviar beads where I want them. There's another trick that I learned from watching the tutorials of Dorota Pautka. And I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. But she will put a daub of top coat on her palette, and then she'll take her caviar beads sometimes and mix them into that top coat and then pick them up with a brush and spread them on there, which works quite nicely. It helps to, it makes them easier to pick up, first of all, and then secondly, they tend to stick on there better, and they're already coated with top coat, which helps to keep the finish on the caviar beads, which is not that big of an issue if you're using the clear looking ones like I've got now. But if you're using gold or silver ones, the finish will wear off, you know, through wear and tear, and then they just kind of look dull and icky. But if you've got top coat over them, it will make them stay shiny and nice longer. And there's the finished thumb. At least I think I'm done messing with it. And now I am going to go, okay, on this one, I'm going to do a pearl necklace. So we're just getting the resin on there. And I will use one of these teardrop pearls for the big part. And then I'm just going to take the little flat back pearls and do the chain part of the necklace. This was frankly the easiest part of the whole deal for me, is getting this part on. Part of the problem that takes me so long too is I go in with a general idea of what I'm going to do, and then as I'm going along doing it, I maybe decide I don't like something, or I get a better idea, and then I change midstream what I was going to do. So I've cut out a lot of that stuff, trial and error things that were in here. But this was one straightforward part that was pretty easy to do, and it came out looking nice. I liked the way it came out, which is not always the case for the nails I'm doing. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so if things don't come out absolutely perfect how I pictured in my head, I'm generally not happy with them, but trying to get better at that. So I've got the pearls all on there. Now I'm going to get out those gold caviar beads that I didn't use on the other part. Eventually, those little things have a little roundy thing on top that usually I could stick my tool in to pry them off, but that one had a broken part at the top of it, so I couldn't get it. So we had to resort to the pliers. Now, one thing with that gel resin, though, that I forgot to mention is it dries on its own. You don't have to cure it, but you need to be careful I usually, when I'm doing my own nails, once I get done, and I will sit there and I'll do stuff on my phone or something where I'm not doing anything crazy with my hands, because they need to have a good, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes to make sure everything's really dried on there well, or it will still move around, and then they'll come off and it's a whole thing. But anyways, I'm putting those gold caviar beads in between the pearls on the necklace part of it to fill it out more, and to tie in the gold from the starfish on another part of my nails. And I had decided at this point, that was all I was going to do on that necklace. Now I'm going to work on the pinky nail. So I had a couple of these pearls that were slightly larger than the ones in that wheel with all the colored ones. Yeah, I'm just going to do a little bit, a couple of the little pearls and the big, with the big, and then I think, I'm not sure if I think I put some caviar beads around there too, if I remember. Yep. It actually was like 2 months ago when I had these nails on. It's taken me this long to get this tutorial done, so I kind of forgot exactly what I had now. I'm just plopping those on there in some spots to fill it out a little bit more. That one did not want to stick on there. Eventually I'll get it on there though. And a few more are going to go in. And some more. I don't remember putting that many on that little nail, but apparently I did. Okay, now I had decided that I'm going to put some more of those along the line of where the white is, to make it look more like the splash coming up. they're really hard to see on here. And my hands are getting a little shaky now too, so it's not making it any easier. By the time I did my offhand, instead of fiddling around with them like this, I just put the glue on. Like I said, I just poured those over top of it and let them go on there where they were going to go. And frankly, it came out looking better than the ones I messed around with so long. Okay, there's the thumb done. Get it sort of a better look. Okay, now we're ready to top coat. Now I will say, I am going to put top coat over top of the pearls and the caviar beads for 2 reasons. 1, to help keep them on there, and 2, those pearls, the finish always wears off of them, and then you just got this plastic thing on there and it doesn't look nice. So I try to give a generous layer of top coat on top of the pearls. Now I would not do that on crystals because then you lose your shine, but with the pearls and the caviar beads, I definitely am going to get a good layer of top coat on them. Now this one, you're going to see me, after I get this top coat on here, where I get it all in on those little scales, I'm going to go back along the under the edges there and get some on there, a really good amount under there too, just on the very edge, because I don't want those little pieces that pop to get loose and start coming up and peel off. And another cat hair in there. You see, now I'm going to go back along here and get some more top coat along there really well. And I'm glad I did that because it did keep those little ends from peeling up after a month's worth of wear and tear. And then we're going to move right along and finish top coat the rest of them. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. I'm new to this, like I said, but I'm hopefully getting better than when I first started off. And I will get better as I go along. I just have to start doing it more often. This upcoming week, I'm going to be doing a new set of nails on myself, which are going to be bee nails for summer. For some reason in August I always like to do yellow nails, so this time I'm going to do bee nails. So stay tuned for that. I promise it won't take me 2 months to get the tutorial done. And now, as you can see, I'm putting a good amount of top coat on and around those pearls and gold caviar beads. I had one of the caviar beads come off, so I am going to capture it back again and put it back where it goes before I cure. Now I'm just going to clean with a little bit of, I got crazy with the top coat, so I'm just trying to take a little bit of it back off because I didn't want it pooling up in there. And there we are, all done. Thank you very much for watching.